Hi Whovians, Harry here, and Happy New Year! Hope you all had a good Christmas, had a break over the festive period, and now, as we enter the 2025, I thought the best way to welcome in a new season would to be go over some of the endings of Doctor Who, and the fact that Doctor Who has an ending problem. But before I get into this video, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get into the video. So, of course, it has been, very prevalent over the second Russell T Davies era that the endings in Doctor Who have not been great, with, the return of Sutekh being extremely underwhelming in Empire of Death, and the return of Omega really being baffling in the Reality War, and that Doctor Who just has an ending problem that it can't seem to get over, and it isn't just tied to Doctor Who or the second Russell T Davies era. In the ending between the war between the land and the sea, it feels like a very rushed ending, and something that doesn't actually make sense with Barclay becoming part Homo Aqua, and of course, in the Chibnall era, there were rushed endings too, with the Timeless Child literally making zero sense to anyone else but Chris Chibnall, and the fact that, the Flux had a weird rushed ending with the Doctor splitting into 3 different Doctors. And why is this the case? Doctor Who definitely has some sort of ending problem that it can't seem to get over, and there is something holding it back. And is this actually by design of what Doctor Who is? Doctor Who is a show with an infinite number of possibilities, really, depending on who the Doctor is and who the companion is, because, really, Doctor Who is a show that can go on forever and ever, with no finished endings, with the, however many endings Doctor Who has had, be it whether you want to look at the ending of the 7th Doctor and Ace as they just walk off into the distance to have more adventures, or whether you want to look at the ending of, the Reality War, with Billie Piper returning as the new, maybe incarnation of the Doctor, maybe something different. That there will still be adventures after this that we just don't see. Doctor Who, by a programme, always regenerates and always renews. But, of course, for an actual TV series, you have to have a satisfying ending to each series, or you can go with the route of the cliffhanger route, each leading into a next series, but that doesn't really work too much for Doctor Who, as of course there's change in the main lead actor, and there's changes in showrunners and writers as well, the people behind the camera. So, of course, there has to be a satisfying ending to each, series, and that just hasn't been the way for many years, because, of course, with the Reality War, we got the weird ending of the 15th Doctor regenerating, a kind of almost shock regeneration, and probably was for a lot of people, and then Billie Piper returning, which, even though I had heard of those leaks, was still shocking for me, but it doesn't make sense why the Doctor would be Billie Piper, and also, is Billie Piper the Doctor? Because in the credits, Billie Piper is not introduced as the Doctor, which is just a weird ending. Also, with the ending of, Empire of Death, it just seems really rushed that, Ruby Sunday just leaves the TARDIS. That seems really rushed, and the Doctor not expressing his emotions when it has been said and even shown in this era that the 15th Doctor is more emotional. However, he doesn't really express it as much as he would like when Ruby Sunday does leave the TARDIS in Empire of Death. So again, that's another weird ending. And even though I think that Doctor Who could do with a longer runtime, like an hour more than 45 minutes, and definitely needs more than 8 episodes, either go back to the 13 episodes or even 10 episodes would be better than 8. There, of course, is an ending problem, because in the Chibnall era, even though we had a kind of nice part in from the 13th Doctor, the Battle of Ranscore of Kolos was just a complete utter mess, which was the first series of the 13th Doctor's era, which was a first draft, apparently, of the episode, which makes sense why it was such a mess, but also the fact that the Timeless Child was just a complete mess as well, like I said earlier, and the fact that the Flux ending felt rushed, and the fact that Chris Chibnall found 3 different storylines he needed to be tied and completed by the Doctor, so he managed to split her into 3, which has never been seen before or since. And, yeah, it makes sense why it felt rushed, with the Doctor in 3 different places at the same time, dealing with 3 different problems. So, ever since, really, the end of the Moffat era, when we said goodbye to the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi, every ending has just seemed a little bit rushed. And to be honest, I think the reason that they have an ending problem is because they are holding back on nostalgia. Of course, we had David Tennant return recently as the 14th Doctor, and Billie Piper returning as what will presumably be the main character in the 2026 Doctor Who Christmas special. So, I think they're holding on to nostalgia, and that is holding them back. Of course, Sutekh and Omega are big names from classic Doctor Who stories, and they just keep going back to them. Even looking at the Chibnall era, with, of course, the Timeless Child being rewriting basically the whole origin of the Doctor, it is not hard to see why nostalgia is a main thing that Doctor Who are leaning on, and is more evident because Russell T Davies is now the showrunner and head writer for this new era of Doctor Who, well, ever since David Tennant came back as the 14th Doctor for the 60th anniversary specials. And I just think that they have a problem with nostalgia, and to make this ending problem go away, really, I think that they need just a new creative team with a new vision, and give up on bringing back old Doctors and companions for at least a while, and then I'm pretty sure the endings won't be as bad as they have been recently, because without any big spectacle, there can only be substance, even if there's only a little bit. But that is just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think Doctor Who has an ending problem? And do you think one of the main reasons is that it is down to nostalgia, and they just keep going back to what worked before but can't work now in the modern day? As I said, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, also subscribe and share it out. And I'm really excited for what the rest of 2026 can bring. See you then.